how would you like this whole hug thing to go down? Do you want to remain seated? Would you like to stand? I, of course, don't care as long as it's under 3 seconds and I don't feel your breath on my neck.
What's the procedure for a perfect episode of Scrubs? Does it begin with 10 cc's of Turk and JD's potent bromance? Or maybe it's a double dose of surreal slapstick humor and Dr. Cox rants? Whichever prescription fits your needs, Scrubs is here to deliver. But for all the medical gags and workplace satire, Scrubs is at its best when cutting straight to the bone. In fact, after one especially emotional episode, the sitcom set a new standard for itself and discovered the perfect balance of heart and humor.
I gotta tell you, little brother, you're always the apple of Dad's eye. You know, that's the worst thing about college football, the male cheerleaders. Oh God, that's a chick.
Often cited as one of the greatest Scrubs episodes, the season 4 stunner, My Cake, delivered bittersweet excellence to Sacred Heart devotees, while also paying tribute to the untimely loss of a Hollywood legend. And despite its delightful title, the episode immediately makes it clear that audiences were in for a tough watch.
Dad died.
Because after the real-life passing of guest star John Ritter, the Scrubs showrunners and staff were forced to process their sorrow on screen. Speaking on the tragic circumstances surrounding My Cake, JD's big brother and reoccurring star Tom Cavanaugh recalled, "We were set to do an episode of Scrubs where John Ritter plays Zach Braff's and my father. He passed away suddenly, and it was such a complete shock." This unexpected turn of events sent the grieving creative team into overdrive because, according to the actor, "I think there was a lot of pressure on the guys at Scrubs, on Bill Lawrence, to forge a tribute and forge it quickly." Bill Lawrence, Scrubs creator and showrunner, was already established as a sitcom savant before this pivotal episode. Having created the award-winning Spin City, Lawrence had learned how to weave personal stories into conventional television plotlines. But when it came time to craft My Cake, Lawrence claims he and his writing staff walked an especially tightrope between humor and tragedy to show the very humanity in laughing your way through tough moments.
I feel like your dad dying has stolen my diabetes thunder.
Oh my God, just this second, I was thinking your diabetes is gonna get in the way of my dad dying.
After an A-plot was established with a heavier tone than usual, a C-plot focused on gaslighting Dr. Kelso helps to even out the mood throughout the episode. Since this is a sitcom first and foremost, even the beer-binging antics of JD's depressive big brother are played up for laughs. But as one of the only instances in which the janitor shows anyone kindness, let alone to his mortal enemy, it's clear that My Cake is a sea change. And if you've checked out our previous video of the janitor's campaign of chaos, you'll understand just how big of a deal that really is. As JD tries to deal with the loss of his father, you can feel the writers and creators literally struggling to cope with a startling vacancy in their cast. And when Turk goes through his own trauma by way of an unexpected diabetes diagnosis, the script openly processes that pain through a beautiful expression of friendship. When JD and his best friend turn to each other with good-natured gallows humor,
Carla is aware if you eat that, your foot will fall off, right?
the show fully transcends from your run-of-the-mill sitcom and into something truly meaningful. As a result of all that darkness behind the scenes, Scrubs ultimately found its identity right in this moment. Because according to Bill Lawrence, this scene between JD and Turk informed all his creative decisions going forward. Although the series had a long history of hilarious hijinks and a deep emotional core, My Cake marked a turn in Scrubs' ability to play it funny and seriously. While it should come as no surprise that a show set in a hospital world occasionally steers toward uncomfortable territory, My Cake heightened reality by focusing on events outside of Sacred Heart's walls. Because when the stakes are always life and death, Scrubs occasionally comes off as indifferent to the natural order of things. But even before the season 4 showstopper, Scrubs had a reputation for a fearless utilization of its characters' vulnerabilities. While episodes like My Balancing Act and My Old Lady had shown the many facets of JD, and even the evasive Dr. Kelso, one particular Scrubs standout was perhaps the most revealing, because when audiences first got a glimpse of the inner workings of Dr. Cox in Season 3's My Screw Up, the impact resonated into My Cake and the entire series. Featuring a guest appearance by none other than Brendan Fraser as Dr. Cox's ex-brother-in-law, My Screw Up is one of the most devastating television episodes of all time. Though audiences suspected not all was as it seemed with these mismatched friends, the climactic reveal was absolutely brutal. And because viewers were well acquainted with Cox's personal tragedies leading up to Season 4, the aggro doctor's behavior throughout My Cake is all the more effective.
So, how'd it go?
Punched him in the face.
Even for non-completionists, this heartwarming turn from the typically terrifying Dr. Cox showed that Scrubs was fully capable of telling raw, emotional stories. The episode proved that even during the height of a popular show, creators could still figure out new ways to improve their craft. While plenty of programs from Seinfeld to The Office entered their best eras after multiple seasons, few would claim a full tonal tilt as the catalyst for higher creativity. Created out of necessity, My Cake's real-time reaction to the death of John Ritter was ultimately a massive success. They forged a tribute, and I thought it was tremendous. Guest star Tom Cavanaugh reflected, "Ritter was just an amazing human being, you know? It was a very significant part for us to be a part of it." And for showrunner Bill Lawrence, My Cake was something of a revelation, because when Scrubs began busting out more heavy-handed plots and dramatic narratives, the series entered into a league of its own. From furthering the dynamic rage of Dr. Cox in My Last Chance to a literal walkthrough of grief in My 5 Stages, Scrubs was able to discuss challenging topics with absolute glee. By the time Scrubs entered the late stages of its run, the show gave fans one final dose of that perfectly comedic, tragically affecting wonder machine in the form of My Last Words. The episode created a quilt of conversational drama and physical humor with a perfectly threaded needle.
You want me to do that, you know it.
Centered on the final moments of a reluctant patient, My Last Words is the culmination of everything that makes Scrubs so great. From manic beer runs and bittersweet gags to some seriously emotional flare gun shots, this episode lets JD and Turk express everything they've learned from My Cake and beyond. The success of Scrubs allowed Bill Lawrence to unleash Ted Lasso on an audience eager for more of his tragic magic. The legacy of Scrubs lives on in Ted Lasso's ability to reach for our emotions. Wildly cheerful though the series may be,
Blow off some steam and have some wicked sex with your new friend. I'm f***ing with you.
Oh, God, I thought you were being serious. I mean, can you imagine?
Oh, I have.
Lasso plays the long game when it comes to drama. Just like the emotionally charged breakdowns of My Cake, showrunner Bill Lawrence was able to cultivate this fluctuation of tone into a full-on sitcom revolution. Whether you're in the middle of a heated lovers quarrel between Roy Kent and Keely Jones, or watching the lonely Coach Beard unravel, Ted Lasso bridges the gap between idealistic kindness and genuine emotional maturity. After the immense success of his Kansas City creation, Bill Lawrence next turned his expertise on an even more poignant place setting. Starring co-creator Jason Segel as a grieving therapist, Shrinking is perhaps the most direct example of Lawrence's brand of emotionally charged sitcoms to date. And while it wavers between comedy and pure devastation, the series takes all the lessons Lawrence learned on My Cake and adds even more realism to the mix.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Pam. Hey. No, there's no hey, Pam. We don't like Pam.
Got it.
Eat a Pam.
Shrinking arrived fully loaded with emotional range from the first episode. Whereas Scrubs was forced to change by necessity, Segel and the Shrinking crew knew exactly what Lawrence demanded. And when it comes to Segel's tragically hilarious relationship with Harrison Ford's character Paul, the writers and actors had the perfect reference to point to. Informed by the touching exchange between the cast of Scrubs and My Cake, Lawrence and Segel created something unique. And Shrinking, effective as it is, might be nothing without the precedent set by JD and Turk's conversation in that crucial episode. Speaking to the power of Bill Lawrence's work, Jason Segel mused, "The beautiful thing about friendship is that it's sad and beautiful and filled with laughter, and you lean on each other when it's hard. Like with JD and Turk on Scrubs or Jimmy and Paul on Shrinking. This is where your friends come in." A perfect example of great friends in low places, My Cake reminds us that we don't always have to go it alone. Like a mirror to our own world, the harsh trials of life might come saddled with fits of laughter, and in our worst moments, we are often afforded the grace of our comrades. Though the circumstances were difficult, the Scrubs crew made something beautiful out of misery. Bill Lawrence transformed the sitcom landscape with humor and kindness, and in terms of paying respects to the late great John Ritter, what could possibly be a better tribute than that? And that's it for this week's episode. So tell us, which emotional Scrubs moment affected you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, be sure to hit like and subscribe to keep up with all our Nerdstalgic videos.